Welcome to Africa Speaks of today. My name is Stephen Malindra. Welcome to Africa Speaks of today. My name is Stephen Malindra, and I do hope that you had a wonderful time wherever you are in any part of the world. What have I got in today's program? Somalia. Somalia has been one area that we've, Somaliland I should say, is one area that we have really tried to explore because of reasons that I will explain. Now, what is going on in Somaliland? Is this the time the world should recognize it as an independent state from the rest of Somalia? That is the question we are going to try and answer in today's program. Now, in 1991, the Somali National Movement, SNM, declared independence from Somalia to form the Republic of Somaliland. You are all aware of that, I guess, by now. Only recognized by 3 countries then in 1991. It's now recognized by more than 20 countries. Led now by President Mohamed Abdullahi, the country has progressed on a slow path without any help from Western countries. We are determined to make it with or without anyone, said one of its former presidents. The question is this the time for the rest of the world to recognize the state of Somali Republic, Somaliland, as its own, in its own way as a republic? With me in the studio today is a Somaliland-born broadcaster and journalist, Adam Dili. Welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you very much, Stephen.
I've been looking forward to this service for a very, very long time. Since we did radio many years ago, sound radio.
I'm not that old, so we're not that old. No. It was it wasn't 2000s. Yeah?
No.
We were called 99. Thank you very much having me, Stephen, and thanks for on the TV.
Yeah.
I'm really delighted to see you again.
Yeah.
I'm really delighted to see your TV.
Yeah.
This is amazing too. I have been following this for a while.
Okay.
And I'm really proud you and your colleagues with you being great. Africa Speaks.
Yeah, I know.
So today I can speak.
Yeah, today you can speak.
Yes, indeed.
Now, I've had a couple of Somalilanders, we should call them, who have been here, and obviously one of them was a diplomat, and the other ones have just been even, in fact, a minister in Somaliland, an advisor to a minister, was also here, and was telling us the good work that is that has happened in the country. Now, you were there for almost 10 years.
12 years.
12 years, and then you came back. How is the country like?
Let me explain. I have been in the West most of my life as a young child, and I have not been growing up back in Somaliland or Somalia for that time. So I have been away for 12 years, and I've seen corner to corner in Somaliland and Somalia as well. Started up a business, did documentaries. So it's fascinating.
We might see one of the documentaries.
Definitely. It's fascinating to see. It's fascinating to follow, and I'm really happy to be here. Going back for your question, what's happened in Somaliland? Right?
Yeah.
Why this recognition?
Yeah.
I can see there's a light in the tunnel. Somewhere the light is there, and near closer than ever before. If we go back again to the history of Somalia and Somaliland, the marriage, when the union started, how did they start divorcing? Are they still divorcing it or not? That's how the
divorce is still going on. It hasn't happened yet.
31 years. I mean, if you love your wife so much, you just say, "I want to have you." That's what Somalia is doing. And Somalians say, "No, thanks. You're not going to have me anymore."
We've had enough. We've had enough.
So Somaliland and Somalia was a 2-country and Djibouti. That's what they're supposed to be marginalizing. So Djibouti was a French colony. Somalia was Italian colony, and Somaliland was a British colony. That 3 countries want to be united.
Okay.
26 June 1996. And what happened was Djibouti didn't come through, but the Somaliland and Somalia start united, and Somaliland, British colony went all the way in Mogadishu to be united, their brothers. That love, that happiness only exists for first 3 years.
Okay.
Then literally you can see the clash between, because remember there's 2 different colony, Italian colony and British colony. They're both of them different. In a way there's a mafia somewhere. In a way there's a British, I like you but I don't like you too. So that's when that between clash comes up, it happens slowly. Finally, the SNM movement started, you know, and then 1991, Somaliland get their independence back.
Yeah.
Some people say we have independence before, we just have still.
Yeah.
I think 26th of June is going to be 65th anniversary of Somali independent British.
Okay, from the British,
For this month we are.
Yeah.
So that's what the history is.
Before we go further,
Yeah.
Puntland is not mentioned here. If you can put Puntland in
Okay.
as part of that history.
Yeah, I can't put Somalia because now the division was Somalia and Somaliland. So Puntland was a part of the Somalia.
It was part of
It was
Somalia.
part of Somalia.
Yeah.
And it still is part of the Somalia.
Yeah, it is.
Puntland is the mother of Somalia, the modern Somalia. That's what they call. Although the government now has a sheikh and Deni are not eye to eye.
Yeah,
And we can go through that other side why they not be happy each other and so on. But if you go back again, the Puntland was a part of the Somalia, and that's what reality is.
Yeah.
So going back again, why Somaliland getting recognition sooner or later?
Yeah.
Somaliland have 4 presidents so far.
Yeah. Through the elections that have taken place. Yeah.
And you already covered that stories
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the election. That 4 presidents was everyone's been elected. It's a one-man, one vote.
Yeah.
While the Somalia is still doing in a small container in Halane with the MPs.
Okay.
So Somaliland have the parliament, the local council election,
Yeah.
and the president election. So imagine you doing 31 years, that progress, you're still independent as a government.
Yeah.
You have your own money,
Yeah.
your own currency, you have your own constitution, you have your own developments. So where is it going to become in Somalia?
Yeah.
The world seeing Somaliland different than Somalia. And they say, okay, there was a guy I was meeting him in Mogadishu airport. And we talk and he says, I'm from Somalia, I have been Somaliland. And say, tell me why Somalia and Somalia is different. They're the same people.
Yeah.
Why they say
Everything is the same. Religion.
Why is a 41 years war in Mogadishu and this independent Somalia? I think Somaliland, the only reason is that have that legacy for the elders.
Okay.
We have an amazing elders. Our constitution comes to elders.
Okay.
The elders are the one who say to you, hey, you're wrong, Stephen.
Yeah.
Stop.
Ethnicity is a major issue.
We're based in tribe.
Yeah.
Although Somalia based in tribe as well. But that tribe really might have more strong, solid.
Yeah.
And British.
The roots are so deep.
Yeah.
I want to find out before we go any further. How has the country managed to survive without any help? This is one of the things that everybody keeps asking. African Union is not signed
No, I mean, there's no
the
embassy.
Chinese. I mean, there's no embassy. There's nothing.
Although it's passed away. But we have a 3-party system.
Yeah.
And that 3 parties is there.
Yeah.
For the last election.
Is it working? Is it
They
working?
do work in perfect. That's why it's election.
Okay. Now I want to go back to the issue. One of the things that you talked about, the clan. This is a quote from Major General Mohammed Fadin, who was chairman of the Somali National Alliance.
Yeah.
He was killed in 1996. And he said these words: the problem with Somalia is that people swear allegiance to their clans than the country. And this has killed the unity of the country. Was he right?
I think you're right. That's the whole Africa. It's not only Somalia.
But in Somalia,
in Uganda, in Ethiopia, we have Oromo, Tigrani, and so on and so on. And the reality is, when we have all these tribes, Somalia is the same thing. There's not going to be a difference in reality. So yes, I think tribe and clan play a big part of our life. In reality. So, but Somaliland left the tribe and have a constitution now. They have a parliament.
Okay.
They have upper house, and they have a local councillors. Everything works for them. So everything works for them.
Because what he meant at the time was that the breakup of Somalia was due to the fact that the allegiances were being sworn by the people, and it's very, very difficult if you want something to happen in the country. If you are going to pass through a certain clan land, you have to have permission from some elders and so on.
Remember,
so he was saying nothing is going to work unless
unless we come together.
we all come together. And
that's-
he tried and failed.
And that's what happened in Somaliland. They come together.
Yeah.
That's what
That's why the success
successful.
is there. Yeah.
The tribes come together.
Yeah.
They build a government. They build a constitution.
Yeah.
They have a one man, one vote now.
Okay.
So
okay.
the tribes doesn't play a big part in Somaliland now.
Yeah.
So that's, and Somaliland, the other question was, where does this financial comes? It's the
All
people, the
right.
taxpayers.
All right. Yeah.
Taxpayers are paying well. We have, now they're saying there's in oil. Now we have a gold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somaliland have everything you can imagine. So I think Somaliland is what they call the secret of, story of Africa. How did they develop all these 31 years while the rest of the Somalis failed state?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think they have these unique things, and seeing my experience, people are happy. People want to live peace. People want to live just their lives every day.
What is the biggest problem there? They're happy. Something's going on. There's El Shabaab there. You know, what is the biggest problem the country is facing, other than failure to be recognized that you're dealing with that?
You talk about Somalia.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Somalia.
Not just Somaliland itself now.
Somaliland doesn't have Al Shabaab at all.
Oh, it doesn't have Shabaab.
It doesn't have Al Shabaab
But
at all.
what other problem is there?
I think the problem now is a recognition. They need a recognition. That's the
Yeah.
the biggest obstacle. I don't call it problem, I call it obstacle to find that side of the student. I think, like every part of the Africa.
No, I mean, when you look at it from this way,
Yeah.
according to the UN anyway,
Yeah.
is hospitals, are they being built?
Yeah, they have been built, everything.
Roads, construction.
The road construction,
Yeah.
everything we built. Remember, Somaliland have been investment from Dubai, Dubai ports.
Okay.
So if we look back in investment, Somaliland have a good connection with the rest of the world. They have a good connection with the MOU in Ethiopia recently.
Oh, yeah,
as
yeah.
we know the story of that.
Yeah.
And then we have
Memorandum of
the
understanding.
article,
Yeah. I'll ask the diplomat here one day.
Yeah, and we can come up to Somaliland have everything working for them. If you go to the Berbera, you see the port of Berbera. You're just thinking, are you in Dubai? That was a huge investment from UAE.
You're very close to Yemen. Is there something Yemenis are coming in because of what's happening in Yemen? Are they causing any problems?
No, they are. They are bring a civilization.
Yeah.
remember Yemenite civilization. I think Yemeni refugee, when they come, they open a lot of hotels.
Okay.
Because remember, we used to have a good connection with the Yemen.
Yeah.
And Aden was, before the Yemen was divided by two as British. I think we have a lot of good connection with the Yemen many years.
Yeah.
And when we have an Ethiopian refugee, we have a Yemeni refugee. I think Somaliland is unique because they are hosting other people as well.
Okay.
So I remember did a documentary with the UN and a guest house where a woman was a refugee from Ethiopia.
Yeah.
And they was taken to Sweden. And I was interviewing that lady and says, what brings you to Somaliland? She said, well, it's the only place I can be safe.
Really?
Yeah. So it was really interesting to see Somaliland, how they are. Somaliland, huge investment from Dubai ports. And now they, last week, Afrocom comes to the Somaliland.
Yeah.
There's American biggest and including the ambassador, and they have a connection with the president Mohamed Abdullahi Irro, the recently elected president. So I think there's something cooking.
Okay.
We cannot say to you there's going to be recognition tomorrow.
Okay.
But you can see other side of it if you look at geopolitics of the country.
Yeah.
China and America are fighting for Africa.
Of course.
Right?
They're big ones.
Yeah, they are big fighters.
Yeah.
So China already control Ethiopia, Kenya, Djibouti, and Somalia.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Only place left in Corner Africa is Somaliland.
Yeah.
So that's why American, and that's why we have a Thailand as well, who have been really coming and help a lot of development things of it. We have Emirates who have been really investing hugely.
Yeah, Emirates, yeah.
So I think Somaliland, if you look at it, how they develop, how they been doing their way of system, is an amazing. Is you go there, people are living their life.
The IOU is something which even the diplomats who have been on my show have failed to come up close. They said, we are still getting to understand it. And apparently there was, I don't know, the report which came from, it came from which other country was
and this, let me explain you. This, if you look, this is it's a historical site. They have been finding 100 years. It's called Las Gil.
Okay.
This is the historical side where people visited. So we have visitors. And every aspect
you have tourists coming in.
Tourists are coming up.
Yeah.
Really. This is documented. One of my colleagues did it. So if you look at the country, this is a Sanag place. You have this many years Sayla, historical places. So I think going back for your question, if you really see what Somaliland, where is Somaliland today, and where Somaliland been for 30 years ago, people are understanding system. One thing people, Africa, rest of Africa, you and the others, why we never understand? Because we're not doing our job.
Who is not doing their job?
Government is not doing their job. They're not doing the BR. They're not doing the BR.
The Somaliland
BR, they're not doing it.
Okay.
They're not explaining the rest of the Africa how amazing they are. They're not bringing the guests back again. You have to, when election comes, you have a Kenya who really come in close and have been covering their stories. But the rest of the African TVs, you will never see them so much. So I think either the government or the businesses, but there's a lot of businesses coming up.
Maybe it's a money problem. They don't have enough money to.
No, I don't think. I think
to invest in do campaigns for the country, because sometimes when you look at it from what the angles I was in, the taxes are coming in and something, and you think what most of the governments look at, the failure to do is to realize that other people knowing about you will bring in more money.
To be honest with you, if you want to be recognized the country, you have to put something in your bucket. That's the way you go. And I think what Somaliland did for many years ago, with other ex-governments, they have really started with it as a campaigning. But when you go to AU and African Union based in Ethiopia, and you don't see a lot of African Union coming to Hargeisa, you're just thinking, okay, why? Africa. One thing the African Union really worried, if they recognize Somaliland, let's say, you have 3 states in African Union who speak the same language, same culture, same religion. Djibouti, Somaliland, and Somalia. And then sometimes you have Ethiopia, who was part of the Somalia. Ethiopia have a huge land of Somali speaking. We call regional Ogadenia. Ogaden. Maybe they will be sitting there. So you have a 4 Somali origin on the table. So when the vote starts, they can say to you, hey, Mr. So-and-so, we vote so-and-so. So that's another worry as well. There's different layers, why Africa is not going to be recognized. But why Ethiopia comes forward now? That's the good question. Ethiopia near the sea. We have one of the largest sea in the coast of Africa. And Ethiopia want to have a seat, Somalia want to have a recognition. Are they going to be happy to marry each other as well? How are they going to be happy?
That's why the IOU thing comes in, because when I was reading a story from Qatar, which Dubai, was explaining Dubai, it was explaining there's a deal worth $442 million. For the main port that's actually one of the ports, and that deal was passing through Ethiopia, and then it's coming to Somaliland. Now that's a lot of money to be invested in Somaliland and for the 2 countries to earn. Now, but again, when you look at it, it could also bring in some confrontation from from Somalia, because if that is happening, and Somalia will probably want to be part of it, because it hasn't refused, the divorce hasn't happened yet. No. So they are saying no, we need that money as well.
When DP World comes, Somalia was against it, but finally they didn't have a choice, because Somaliland government and Emirates, UAE, understand each other. They signed together. And they have investment huge. It's not. They didn't only investment from the board. Even the road. If you look at the road between Berbera to Wachale, the border of Ethiopia, that is more than 350 kilometers, I think. So Ethiopian cars can easily pick up with the latest road. Build Emirates to the boat to the dry boat we call Wachale. So that's really what interesting is. Emirates have invested because Ethiopia is a landlocked country. Now they're starting to invest. They was talking about recently they're going to invest in train.
But could this investment be because of what is happening in Sudan? Because there is a question also of say they are looking at, they've lost a lot of money in Sudan because of what is happening in northern Sudan. I know this has got nothing to do with the Somalia, but in a way it's like helping Somaliland move on, because if it's helping Somaliland, if it's a war is going on, they've got the money, they need to put their money somewhere, and they see peace there, so they're jumping in.
Of course, I think there's a lot of nations are coming to Somaliland and investing it. And recently there's a gold investment in one of the finding reserve gold in Senag region, and there's a huge investment as well.
And gas as well.
The gas and gas. The Somaliland have everything ready, but that recognition stops a lot of governments.
Is the key. Individuals, Somalians themselves, Somalilanders themselves, they've got a lot of money abroad. Others live in Dubai, others in Saudi Arabia, and so on, and the huge investment. There's a system under which, of course, they've been trying their level best, but explanations have always been that there is a lot of corruption there. There's something that is also preventing money from helping develop the country. I know you're not a member of the government. You're not in the government.
I'm not in government. I'm telling you, the corruption is everywhere in Africa, and there's a corruption in Somaliland as well. I'll tell you one thing. This reality, the corruption is a cancer in Africa.
It is. It's the biggest.
I'll tell you a story. What happened? One of the ministers, a friend of mine was looking for contracts. He was investing in solar power.
Solar power.
And then we said, okay, and before you put the bidding, you have to meet the minister. And the DG, and so on.
Of course.
So he meets the chain. I see all Africa. Then he meet some of the ministers, and they say, okay, you know what? We talk about percentage. And they put some percentage. And I say, I'm not even making profit for that. Come on, guys, give me a break. So I think corruption is everywhere in Africa, and Somalia is a part of Africa. We cannot deny it. There's a corruption. Government corruption, there's a business corruptions. There's so many ways you can call it. I think Somaliland, what's lacking now is sitting down and says, okay, where are we? Where are we going to go? They have all the mechanisms to be recognized. They have all the mechanisms to be invested. But where are we going the next step? I think this government comes recently. Mr. Abdurrahman Irro, he's more really calmer. He's a more diplomat. He has been going the right direction so far. When you look at it, where he come from he only 6 months in the power. He have been going to Dubai, he have been going to Kenya, he have been going again in Dubai again, looking at investments. So I think if they get that investment, but the corruption, nobody's
can't fight it.
Nobody gonna be away with that concept.
Of course. But now, when I was speaking to the advisor to the Minister of Agriculture, the one who was here, I keep forgetting. Ibrahim told me that.
I'm the one who sent it to you. Remember?
You did.
I connected with you.
You suggested and he came down. Now, the thing is, one of the things that he suggested, he was talking about, was the failure of the youth in Somaliland to embrace, because he was saying, he was talking to the elders and telling them that, listen, we got a huge youth population, but the problem
75%.
The problem is that most of the elders who are in positions, because of the clan issues that you mentioned, they don't want to go away. Just like the problem of Africa, where one leader is in office for the next 30, 40 years, and the next people all surrounding him are in the same age category. Now, it's a similar problem that Somaliland is facing.
It is really similar.
How can they overcome that and try and bring in the young people? Because part of that will probably take corruption away, but because the elders are there and they're not going away. And
they're not dying soon.
Unless you kill them off.
I don't think we can kill them. We love our elders. And they're the backbone of our system. I think every government, there's a big problem in Africa with the youth. Somaliland, 75% are under 35 in reality. And there's no jobs.
There are no jobs. That's the key thing.
In reality, there is a huge graduation, universities graduating every day. The government cannot be employing every person.
Of course not.
The education system sometimes needs to be looked at again. Will are we really educate ourselves in Africa? I don't need to be urban generation to study. Well, I don't have a mechanic in the car or plumber. I need a technical. We have a lot of Yemenis, Indian coming building our houses now. Like rest of the Africa. So we need to have other system of education in reality.
Yeah.
But if you look, Somaliland, what are they doing for the youth? Nothing.
They're not doing anything at all.
They're not doing anything.
Yeah.
And one thing, you know why?
Yeah.
Because youth are not united. The rest of Africa same.
Yeah.
Because if they was united in
Yeah.
youth, and you say, you know what, I want to change the system. I want to make an uprise and say this is not working.
Yeah.
Nobody cannot ask me, 8 years old, a minister,
Yeah.
doesn't know my needs.
Yeah. An
Doesn't-
80-year-old minister. Yeah.
Minister doesn't know my needs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a new generation with an iPhone 14, 16, who knows everything in life. We're not that old days
Yeah.
where you don't know information.
Yeah.
I can Google today what presidency runs Uganda,
Yeah.
how it was the richest man in the world,
Yeah.
everything. They are well educated.
Of
So
course,
until
of
the
course.
youth wake up and say, we need a change. How do we get the change? I don't think an old man, he want to stay there.
How about religion? Which part does it play? Because even within the Muslim faith and with Christian faith somewhere, you have to obey your elders. The whole issue of disobeying your elders, and I'm sure this is what is also keeping Somaliland behind. Because when you're a young man, you're going to listen to your father,
Yeah.
and you're going to listen to your president who is older and anybody who is older.
Yeah.
That thing in itself is affecting not just Somaliland, but
Yeah.
the rest of Africa, where we look at the elder. If an elder comes in here, I would definitely stand up.
Of course.
I respect him
So much.
and I wouldn't even find it difficult to challenge him on anything.
No, I wouldn't even
because he's an
challenge him.
elder.
I
Yeah.
can challenge him behind, but I cannot challenge in front of him.
Exactly, you can't do it in
Yeah.
front of
That's
him.
reality.
You know, that's the reality.
Yeah.
So maybe the structures that are holding us back
Yeah.
are the very ones that
The culture and the root
the
and the
culture
religion.
and the root of that.
That's the
and
one.
religion as well.
I agree with you. That's the one aspect.
Can that be overcome?
That's one aspect. That's reality. We believe in and we respect our elders.
Yeah.
But our elders are doing the job we want to do.
Of course not.
No, okay.
Yeah,
So although I'm respecting them,
Yeah.
although they are really, in Islam says you have to respect, in the culture says respect.
Yeah.
It's about the time to say, uncle,
Yeah.
daddy,
Yeah.
it's my time of life.
Yeah.
You need to back your back and let me run the country in the best way because I'm a digital.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
But
reality.
the thing is, if you have not been raised that way, it doesn't come up. So maybe the structures come from the way we are raised
Yeah.
and the education
I agree
as a whole.
I totally agree
Yeah,
with you. We
yeah.
have that issues of the culture.
Yeah.
But look Britain,
Yeah.
look the Western world.
Yeah.
Where's the elders? When he reached,
they're retired already.
exactly,
Yeah.
when he knows that his age, he's just out.
Yeah, yeah.
And they train young people.
Yeah.
That's what we need in Africa, to train early stage. By the time I'm 20, I need to know my life where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
21 in this country, you have a master's degree. You know where you want to go.
It's easier said than done. That's the problem.
I agree with you.
It's easier said than done.
Okay.
But there has to be now people like you who are in the media.
Yeah.
Part of the education structure is now that you say, hang on a minute, Minister so and so and so,
Yeah.
President so and so, all the people
Yeah.
who are, you are above this age.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility of you retiring? We're doing that. We're trying to do that
Yeah.
even in Uganda
Okay.
and in Kenya, I think, and Tanzania as well.
Yeah.
The East African region now
Yeah, okay.
has started embracing because of the demonstrations that took place in Kenya
Yeah. Recently,
last
yeah.
year.
Yeah.
And even recently,
Yeah.
you've seen when they killed one of the boys, the bloggers,
Yeah.
the police, the structure is now coming, say, hey, long time ago, there wouldn't have been such a demonstration in Kenya.
I think we wake up in a way, don't we? I think
Can Somaliland do something
I
similar?
think similarity. I can tell you one thing.
Yeah.
I can see one day or another,
Yeah.
there's going to be a clash between the elders and the young people.
Yeah.
I don't know when, but there will be a time we say enough
You
is
should
enough.
be the one leading it.
I'm not leading it. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
But really, Somaliland is the part of the Africa, and we have this issue.
Yeah.
I think the other issue we have, in reality, education system need to be looked at it.
Okay.
In reality,
Yeah.
and says, okay, where are we educating our system?
Yeah.
We need to talk. We need to say, okay, university 3 years. After you finish 3 years, and you're not getting job. Why? You need to do a mobile repair,
Okay.
an aluminum technician, a solar power system,
Okay.
that kind of things. So yeah,
How about you see the issue of religion has always come in.
Yeah.
It's affecting northern Nigeria so much.
Boko Haram.
The Boko Haram in northern Nigeria.
Yeah.
And of course, to a certain extent, you had it in Somalia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Al-Shabaab.
Al-Shabaab.
Yeah.
Now, there is that element of religion, of people who have, they are the same Muslims, they are the same, but they have a different mindset
Yeah.
that they are following.
Yeah.
Now, similarly, with religion, it's something almost similar. Now, Saudi Arabia has tried to change that after realizing what happened in Afghanistan and so on. The crown prince now, who is on.
Modernizer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a modernizer.
Bin Saad.
So,
Prince Salam Assad, yeah.
Yeah. So what he's trying to do is he changed the concept. He says, okay, we are all Muslims, we are religious, we want these young people, but this is where the younger people have got to go. So he's put a lot of money into that direction in order to avoid, they are in football now, they're in all the entertainment, all the kind of things. He's trying to drive them away because they had all these religious czars coming in and doing the preachings and so on. Now, similarly, when you look at the imams in Somalia, a similar issue was happening in Somaliland with the imams and so on. Okay, it's keeping the youth in a certain way, but it doesn't give them jobs. And on top of that, it doesn't explore how the youth should be used. This is where I keep saying, look, somewhere along the way, you don't wait for the bubble to explode. Because when the numbers suddenly become, when you reach maybe something like 25 to 40 million unemployed, and of course the bubble will go, and that it will start affecting the growth of the country. Do we need to advise the leaders on this?
I think the leaders need to wake up. I mean, what happened in Saudi Arabia is a way beyond.
And besides, they have the money anyway.
They have the money, exactly. I think what they're doing is modernizing the whole generation.
Exactly,
I have a family there, and when you talk to them, you're just saying, oh, they change. I was in Saudi 2 years ago.
Okay.
Were in Jeddah, and I was before that.
Prince Salman.
So what happened was, I went to a restaurant late, and then the restaurant was, even there was a female sitting there without a car, without no hijab, smoking shisha and so on. I was 2 years ago in the same place, and I would never see a woman sitting there. Never seen a woman driving a car. So Saudi is a different story. But if we go back again, Somalia, what's happened in Somaliland now, and how Somaliland can be really stop that problem, I think two things they need to do. It's a time to wake up the government and give it generation to wake up. Now we have the good things for last government and this government. A lot of young people are coming top leaders. The ministers are young, under 40s. So that's really starting, but they need to push more.
Well, I think it's also due to the new man who is in the office now.
Mohammed Abdulrahman.
The new president, because the old presidents have all been, those around them were different. But this new man is looking at it.
This man have experience. He have a real experience. He have been diplomat for many years. And ex-Somalia president. And I think what happened is, in reality, I think he have the guts to make a change. But remember, he only have 5 years.
In order to do that.
Can that 5 years be changing? Is a good question mark. I just say to a person, it's not easy to change in 5 years. So I think he let him good luck, because he only 6 months. So
Is that the president?
Well, that's the ministers of this new government. The ministers of sports. And then you hopefully see the president. I think in this video we have the vice president showing it. That's a vice president. That's minister of the and these young ministers you can see. They don't even have a grey hair yet. In that case,
I was going to ask a question about women. I've just spotted one woman in there. Women have not had the previous government.
We don't have. We have one.
You don't have women.
We don't. We have. I think there's 3 ministers. And compared to the rest of Africa, we are way better. I think what is happening is that's the mayor of Hargeisa. He's a young as well. Mr. Moge. I think, and we have one woman in the parliament. I think we're lacking women. That's reality in our whole Africa. In Somaliland, population says more than 6% are women. But they're not getting elected.
Why? Is it education?
No, it's not education. They're more, maybe sometimes they're well educated now. Remember, women, our base sometimes, religion plays a big part. culture plays big parts.
Yeah.
So to elect it in Africa, in electing women as your MB, it's not yet. We're not that yet.
Yeah.
But now I think the new generation
Okay.
is a time they say, okay, you know what? She's my sister. She's well educated, and it's a time to elect it. Now, recently, I've seen young girls who have been journalists a few years away in the Somali media who's coming forward to want to be MB. So I think it's about the time the new blood and new generation coming in Somaliland, and you will see for maybe a couple of years' time there will be a lot of MB for women and coming forward.
The changes in cultures. There's one thing that the advisor to the president, to the minister, told me is that when you're coming from abroad and you're coming in with what you've seen in Sweden, with what you've seen in England, and what you've seen somewhere in Saudi Arabia, and you bring it in, and then you try to bring it in so fast with a system, it crashes down, because at the end of the day, those who are there the thing needs to be reintroduced in such a way that it goes slowly. Because he was trying to explain to me that I think when he went with his kids, and then he realized that the kids have got things which other kids don't really have.
Absolutely.
And the structure was changing. So he was explaining to me that the way we introduce things in Somaliland should go slowly. It shouldn't really go quickly. Is that some kind
reality?
Because when you are introducing,
you can't copy and paste.
You can't copy and paste
in the whole nation.
It can never work.
I'll give you a sample. When I arrived first time, I started a business. One of my first business was a pizza.
A pizza?
A pizza and shawarma. Right? I opened in the middle of the Hargeisa called City Burger.
Okay.
And we opened first kind of like shawarma fast food chain. Fast food was something new 2011, 2012, that time when I opened it. Now today it's a really big difference in the games. So when I open it, people would just say, okay, what's the shawarma? They know shawarma, some people never see shawarma. And then you explain the shawarma and so on and so on. It takes a time nation to bring something. They know their own food. They know their own street food. Shawarma is a street food from Libya and Arab continent. So I think it will take a little bit of time to understand. Same thing as the politics. You need to give it time. To change a nation is not 1 day, 2 days. That's what Nelson Mandela says. You will never change a nation over tomorrow.
No, it can't.
What do you need? What you need is to give it slowly and educate it slowly. And that's why a lot of diaspora going back again and coming back again disappointed. Because you wanted to set up a business, you have investment of 150,000, you want to get a turnover for tomorrow, and
it can't happen.
It's not going to happen.
No.
And then there's going to be system-wise, there's going to be government-wise, there's going to be so many things. There's no company house there. You can go to online and feel it. You have to go to the system and know someone know. In whole Africa, same thing. When I set up a business in Mogadishu, I didn't go to straight away to government. I have to call someone and say, do you know anybody who works there? That's all in Africa. So I think it will take a time to build a nation. Somaliland have a 31 years so far. They built an amazing system, one man, one vote. Election for the local councillors, election for the MPs, election for the 4 presidents. They have all the mechanism a nation needs to have it.
One important thing, which again I found it amazing and sometimes difficult, is that Somalians, not just Somalians and others.
We are Somali. Let me clarify something. Ethnically, Somali is like Africans. I can't say to I'm Somali. When I go to African, I'm Somali. So ethnically we are Somali. Somali is a part of, in reality, Somaliland. So there's no, I see people say we're Somalilanders. Yes, you are Somalilanders, but you are part of the Somali ethnics.
Of course,
So the ethnics is the one who live in Kenya is Somali. The one living in NFD Ethiopia is Somali. The one living in Europe is Somali. So we are Somali. So we are like a Kushiti. So when you go to Africa, then you have a Kushiti, and then you have a Somali, so on and so on.
Basically, what I was trying to say, you can fit anywhere in Africa. In Uganda, there are so many Somalis.
We invest in your country.
Remember? I know. In Kenya, there are so many. And in Tanzania, there's so many.
We are running the show.
Now, the problem that we see ourselves is that if Ugandans try to go to Somalia, and invest in Somalia.
Yeah.
It becomes like a war. What are you doing here? It's similarly because I've got a cousin who was in the army, and he served with the Ugandan army in Somalia.
Yeah.
When his his term of office ended, he came back to Uganda, left the army, but he saw a business project in Somalia,
and he cannot
in Mogadishu.
Yeah.
He went back to try and see if he can invest there.
Okay, and
they kicked him out. They kicked him out. And the man said, look, I'm coming in and they're here. They're nearly 1 million Somalis in Uganda.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
But we don't tell them to go. There are 1 million Somalis in Kenya.
I think
we don't tell them to go.
I think the secret is we are...
And yet this man speaks the language.
Yeah. Fluently.
Fluently. He speaks the Somali language. And secondly, I think even he changed. He married
I think we need to put the story that one. We will call him again in the studio.
Yeah, because when he was telling me and he was saying, look, I tried to invest there. I tried, but it was very difficult. And I said, look, the thing is, they succeed where we are.
Yeah.
They succeed, but we can't succeed there. Why?
I think the reason is because, remember, there's still a war. In Mogadishu. Yeah. Because your cousin he was a soldier. Who you have the trust that one. Yeah. For us, we will have a civil war in Mogadishu. Okay. A lot of us will not still believe in Mogadishu. Reality. Yeah. Uganda is more safer than Mogadishu. Yeah. That's the reality.
I know. That's the reality.
So, and then when you see opportunities, I think when we came to Uganda, it was before the British colony. We have that connection many years.
Many years ago.
Yeah, many years ago.
Yeah.
So in reality,
even Idi Amin allowed so many of them in Uganda.
So I think, going back again in the question, I think it's too early to invest it for you or anyone else in Somalia. Yeah. Maybe if you come to Somaliland. Yeah.
But even Somaliland,
can we try that? I can guarantee you can invest it.
Even Somaliland,
I'll tell you one thing. We have my brother have an aluminium business in interior decoration. Yeah. There was this guy, Pakistani guy, who was working for him. Yeah. He left for us and he said, I'm going to go back. Few months we see him back in the town. I said, what are you doing? I set up my own business.
In Somaliland?
Interior decoration. He did the same project we're doing it. Yeah. And guess what? He partnered with a Somali person. Yeah. And that's it. He kicked it. He kicked us down market. He was our staff. So it can happen in Somalia. And maybe it cannot happen in Somalia. It's very difficult. So I tell you, if you maybe bring your cousin to Somaliland, we can work out something.
I'll tell him, but I don't think the experience he got, I don't think he's interested in going back there.
Let's give him one more time.
Yeah.
Give him one more time.
I don't know. He's well established there. So it was an experience for him because he felt he had seen the market when he was a soldier, and he saw the areas where he could actually invest and get good money because he had Somali friends who are doing the same business. But he said, okay, I'll be more because UNICEF, it's called UNICEF, the army. They had really paid a lot of money because the Americans were the ones paying for their stay. So they get their money in dollars, invested very well.
UNICEF,
UNICEF, So somewhere along the way, it was so painful for him to say,
goodbye.
I'm back here, but at the end of the day, this thing would have worked the way it went, and I helped save that country. I helped,
give my time and energy.
Give my time and energy and everything. Yeah,
and then Somalia appreciate for African Union. I mean, I think it's a beautiful thing what other African coming there and doing it. We're really happy. We want to see peaceful in Mogadishu. Okay. Mogadishu is one of the most beautiful places in the world. You have the sea, you have the land. 1 minute you can get fish. Second minute you can get the camel milk. Mogadishu is one of the most beautiful places you see. The weather is amazing.
Have they dealt with the issue of the pirates? Because
that's gone. That's gone. That's a bullline. Yeah, that's gone. That's a long time. You didn't hear that.
Because some of them.
We don't call pirates. We call our army. For us as a Somali.
Some of them were coming from Somaliland.
Most of them was in Puntland.
But that also goes back to employment, of course. These are young men with no jobs. Might as well attack.
When you come to our sea. And fish it. Right. And take all the fishes. Most of the guys who was fighting there was a fishermen. That's where they started with the piracy. And they are protecting us, our sea. So I think it's really nice because we call our army. We don't call the barracks like the Western call.
Yeah, but
I covered a story when I was there. When I went to A, and really I was doing a documentary, and I get up early morning with the Danish TV. I was with the Danish TV.
Yeah.
Because they hijacked 2 Danish.
Ships. Yeah.
So and then we went there and we pray and early morning prayer.
Yeah.
And I was praying with them. I was friendly with them, speaking the language and everything.
Yeah.
And I says, "What are you doing?" He says, "We wake up to protect our sea."
To protect our sea.
Yeah, that means they're hijacking everything. so I think they was doing a great work, and they was getting good money.
Yeah.
That's one thing I can tell you. They was getting a good money.
Oh,
the ransom was an amazing money. Imagine a young guy who never touched $1,000 in his pocket, who was getting 50,000.
What did that money do? Is it invested in the country?
They built a lot of houses. Yeah. They invested hugely.
Yeah.
I mean, they did some different ways, but some of them really went the wrong direction and get a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
Because when you get this amount of money, drugs coming, alcohol was coming. Other drugs was coming, so that was really difficult as well. There was a bad side and there was a good side, but end of the day, what they was doing, we cannot say it was right, it was wrong. But in reality, they have it was driven for more than 4 years, 5 years. But now it stopped really. So I
think because of the Americans are worship which is permanently in that area. They're policing the entire area. So it's became very difficult for them.
When some people die, they run away.
So at the end of the day, they didn't see the point of being killed.
Going back from my 12 years experience setting up a business and setting up as a journalist and covering stories. Well, I see Somaliland was unique. You see people waking up in the morning and doing. I'll give you a sample. This lady, she was making $200 a day.
A day?
A day.
Okay.
She have a small corner shop, right? A small restaurant, and she make the breakfast in the morning. Camel River. That's what she was doing. She have one of the best, amazing tests of Camel River. Hopefully, I'll send you the link, the video I did it. I don't know. I send you before. I don't know if I send you or not. She get up 4 o'clock in the morning. Get the Camel River. Bring on the table. She's cooking it. She is 70 years old.
70.
She have been doing there more than 20 years.
Whoa.
If you see her restaurants. It's empty. There's no chairs. There's no big, beautiful things. You're sitting down on the floor sometimes. And the queue is a long, long way.
Oh, really? There must be something in what she's selling.
You know what? Making $200 a day in Hargeisa, 7 days a week. You can calculate the number. How much will be obtained? There's an opportunity for business startups. There's an opportunity for so many different things. Hargeisa alone, there's 1.2 million lives there.
1.2 million people. In Giza, that's the capital city.
Hargeisa capital city. And imagine the business is booming. Only things they need, recognition.
Oh, yeah, recognition.
If they get that recognition key, that would be amazing. I set up.
It's the campaign that is not being done properly. They need to do the campaign properly.
Absolutely, they need
get as many signatures as they can.
I think what they need is to go to rest of Africa and knock the doors. Most of them, they come to Europe and America to look for recognition. I think they're going to go to Ghana, Uganda, and
they need to do that. They need to do that.
I think that's what they need to shift. If they want to be recognition. Yes, you can get the Americans and British. That's the bullies of the world. Reality. We're not going to deny that because of British colony. But they already have been independent when they was getting British independence. To get that last stamp, I think it's coming closer than ever before.
Because I've had about Ambazonia here on a station. They're trying to break away from northern Cameroon, almost the way South Sudan was with North Sudan. And they put most of their emphasis on the Commonwealth. The lady who's president of Ambazonia was here, and she was explaining that if we get the Commonwealth, then the rest of Africa and other former Commonwealth members would join us into that. Now, I've been to the Commonwealth, and I know the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, and I've never seen Somaliland trying to advocate for the Commonwealth.
I think
I'm wondering, and yet it used to be a British colony.
Yes, indeed.
Can there be a way in which they
knock the door,
knock on that door as well?
I think they need to knock on every door. Commonwealth was supposed to be one of the first important knocking the doors because it was a British colony.
Yeah.
And I think
Why don't they do that?
I have this question mark again and again, and when I even asking the politicians, I wish I have that answer. Why you're not knocking doors for Commonwealth?
Yeah.
I believe if they knock let's say in Africa we know the corruption is a part of it, right? So if Somaliland went to go to in one of the parts of Africa, and says, okay, this is the amount of money I can give it to you, my friend. Can you recognize me? Would you think some African African government will say no?
No, but now they've got 20 countries.
Exactly.
There are 20 countries that have recognized them. So far.
Yeah.
And besides, I mean, if you have China, you have Turkey, you have some of those countries that.
I don't know. I think Turkey is about Somalia. China is about Somalia, so it will be difficult to get that.
Okay.
I think what they have the backup is British, Americans, Thailand. They're kind of the really in Emirates.
Emirates.
That's what they have so far. There's some of the government you don't want to go. Look, Turkey, what they do in Somalia, they have a huge investments. Now they find even oil. So I think they have been really.
But then the thing is they are not good investors. Somebody was telling me about that. They will come in, they get the oil, but they're not going to invest. The key thing is, can we get our money and go? That's what Turkey hasn't failed so much to do. I don't know. I'm not a politician. I've seen that.
I don't know really deeply, but what Turkish did in Mogadishu, they did an amazing work.
In Mogadishu,
let's be realistic. When Somalia needs most, Erdogan land in Mogadishu, help people who need help. That was really unique things for Turkish. And I think Turkish have that relationship. Well, the rest of the Muslim continent, if we talk about the Muslims, never come and knock the door. What Turkish did was amazing. He comes, pick up the kids, feel like a human, and he gives really something back. Turkish have been good connection with Somalia, and how they invested, I don't know about that. And how do they do the business, I don't know. But in my scene in Mogadishu, there's a lot of change. There's a lot of restaurants called Istanbul restaurants, so on and so on. There's a lot of Somali who live in Turkey now, Istanbul and Ankara.
We're coming towards the end of the program. I want to find out, the next 20 years of Somaliland is something that, is there huge investment somewhere? Is there something in 20 years' time from today that Somaliland will look like? In terms of there's so many things. I mean, you for Somalilanders who are abroad, you could say, okay, 5-10 years time, this is what we want to do. Projects that are much, I tried to get that from the advisor and even the diplomat who came here, but it was like, oh no, we are waiting this and recognition. Don't forget about recognition. Can you do something in 20 years' time that... Let
me tell you something. To invest in Somalia is a challenge. I've done it, and I'm not going to lie. It's a challenge. They need to change in a way or another. When you come in international investors, you need recognition. When you come in Somaliland diaspora, they have invested it hugely. Every place you go, they say, but they need to get that channel easily. So let's say, when you want to invest in Somaliland, one watt of electricity, the biggest issues. Let's say you bring, you just say, I'm going to do something fishing, right? But you need the freezers and so on.
Of course.
It's expensive, the electricity. So until the government find the structure of in reality, free electric or lower cheaper electric, you cannot invest in it. Because you cannot pay $3,000 a month for freezers. So Somaliland government need to have the structure ready so people can invest in it. I can't run for 450,000 and invest in fish and get a boat, and I know when I come out,
the fish is going to get spoiled because there's no...
So I think Somaliland government, or the Somaliland, first of all, what do we need is the builders of human being, electricity, water, right? Why we don't have a water in one of the big cities of Somaliland? We don't have a water running. Why? We have those questions. So all the questions need to be answered. And until you have that in system place, it will be difficult to invest. You can get investment, but it's going to be small investments. That's the one thing I can say.
Somalilanders abroad, Could they do, because we've been discussing this on so many occasions where we are looking at investments from within the very people, rather than thinking in terms of foreign investors. Can we think in terms of African investors, Somali investors, to invest?
I think you can do
into the power?
it. Can do it. Now the telecommunication is in the hands of the public.
Okay.
All right, it's a private companies, but the electricity is some of the places. If you look at the water in Somaliland, it's still the government control.
Okay.
So there need to be a privatization. They need to have something first on the table before you say, I'm going to invest in. A lot of people say we want to go back investment. It will be small.
Yeah, it won't be big. Yeah.
If you want a big, you need to be ready for a big.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
Okay.
So that's what I can say to you. But when it comes to tourists, there's a lot of Africans coming tourists, and I will say to anybody, visit Somaliland.
Yeah.
You will be amazed how the structure works. It's a miracle. You cannot explain how Somalia is falling state and how Somaliland becoming the most independent and a real country itself. You will never understand until you go there, see the people. People are friendly and people are really welcoming.
Okay.
So I would say that.
You're so Somalia. You're so Somalia so well. You're so Somalia here so well. I just want to say thank you very much. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm really happy.
I look forward to getting you back again. And
the next time I'm here, maybe with recognition.
Yeah, of course. I hope we recognize you.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you very much for viewing us. And I hope we'll be together again for another edition of Africa Speaks. And may God bless you. That's all I have to say.
And have a lovely night. If it's a night for you.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Thanks,
and may God bless you all.